Go. What's up, everyone? Carmine Dinisco here. We are on the Launch Network. We have an awesome show today. We're at the Shark Tank Effect with Mr. Christopher Guerrero. Let's bring him on. Chris, what's happening, man?
Good morning, America.
I see the hat. I see the hat. You have to smile when you see the hat.
That's my rendition, man. I did it live on TV, so I'm sticking with it. Matter of fact, I did it so good that Robin Roberts sent me a tweet saying, "Wow, I love your energy and your fullness of life." And I'm like, I've been wanting to do that for like 20 years. I was on the set of Good Morning America, and they chose Brandy to do it. And Brandy's like, "I'm not doing that. You do it." So I did it, and the producer looked at me like, "What are you, some psychopath?" So that was it. I never got on.
It was my dream. If this go true.
That's it. I got that one chance, but then somehow Robin revived me. Got a camera crew at the house. This is when I proposed to Brandy live, and then they came to the house. I was able to do it, and she loved it. So
That's funny.
It worked out.
That is funny.
So that's what today
I
is.
would mess that up. I definitely would.
Well, I think everyone does it different, right? Some people say, "Good morning, America." I want it to be like like Robin Williams in the movie there. "Good morning, Vietnam." Just add America to it, and you're good to go. Hey, so we got some great podcasts we've been doing, right? Coming off our back shows, we've had some great folks on. We're doing a lot of Shark Tank people, and their backdrops and what they're doing going forward. We're getting a lot of recognition now. The shows are growing. We're looking at partnering with a couple of companies like the one we have on today, which is Firefly Buys, which will now be rebranded to Recomm. But I'll let our guests talk about that. My man, Mike Zerzant from Fireflies Buys, which is going to change, right, Mike?
Absolutely. Good morning, Chris and Carmine. I don't have quite the intro that you guys got with the Good Morning America thing. So good morning from outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Glad to be home. I've been traveling. I've been to about 6 shows in the past 14 days. So I'm finally home for a few weeks. And so glad to be here on this podcast and talking to you guys this morning.
Doesn't that feel good, like after you've been gone a while? Because it's like it's just crazy, right? It's nonstop. And then you get back home and just chill for a little bit. It feels so good.
Oh man, yeah. I was at let's see where I was. In Vegas for a week, home for a day. Went to Chicago for a week, home for the day. Went to LA for 3 days, home for a day. Went to Miami for 3 days, home for a day.
Wow.
So my wife barely recognized me. Going back to the office, I had to put the address into my GPS because I forgot how to get to work. I mean, it was like 20 days straight on the road, across time zones and all this stuff. So
that's all over the country, man. That's some traveling right there.
A lot of trade shows. This time of the year, there's just a lot of trade shows happening. We had some meetings and seminars and some of our supplier meetings. So had to get out there, but I'm home for a little bit now. So
I want to give Mike a chance to talk about himself a little bit with Firefly Buys and what his background is and what he does. I mean, I know we probably need more than 15 minutes to do it, but that's all you're going to get today. So we may have to have an extended version down the road. And I think the extended version will have a little bit about your dance moves, because I've seen them firsthand. And we know you got some John Travolta in you.
I do feel bad that we can't get video integrated into this, because if you guys saw my moves, you'd attract a lot more listeners or viewers.
Chris has been talking about this for a while.
This was last year, the Super Zoo.
This was
we had a beach party. It was unbelievable. It really was.
The disco was out. I mean, it's like I'm a sucker for the disco, man. Like
they were so good too, right? That band was really so good. Stuff. And that was it. His feet just started to move. Like, I think he was having an out of body experience.
The lubrication from the alcohol didn't help. I didn't hurt at all, right? I helped a little bit.
Exactly. So Mike, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, your background, how you got involved with Firefly Buys and all the great things you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of go back really quickly in the early days, graduated from business school. And then got into retail. Actually, was in retail in college. So I had a training program, a store line guy. So I worked for Lord & Taylor department stores. It's now defunct, unfortunately. They were like a 150-year-old company, fantastic organization, and moved up through and was a sales manager, then an ops manager, an HR manager, and divisional sales manager. Held every job you could hold in a store I held it, and it was great experience. And it really set me up for where I am today. I didn't realize selling to customers directly and selling various products from toasters to belts to whatever it's perfume, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of sold it all and learned a lot about, consumers, behaviors, pricing, promotions, all that kind of stuff. So I worked for Lord & Taylor for about 12 years, and then worked for Bloomingdale's for about 5 years. And then the store I was at, both stores, I left Lord & Taylor because the store closed. Then I left Bloomingdale's because the store closed. I don't think it was because of me. I'm hoping it wasn't. No, it really was. What's happening there is that department stores in general, retailing in general, is going through a lot of change, right? I mean, when I was in the early days, for me, in the 90s, there was this huge growth, right? Malls are opening up, stores are opening up, brick and mortar was just on fire. But then slowly Amazon comes on and starts pulling customers and making it tough for brick and mortar. They had to really adjust. So a lot of these stores, just there wasn't enough space left, right? The consumers were spending more online. They weren't spending it in the store. So that's really what was going on. So interestingly enough, the reason why I have a job today is because Bloomingdale's, which had closed, and I was the operations manager. One of our biggest customers was Ryan Flanagan, who was the president of Firefly Buys, was in the store all the time buying, but then selling it online. So he was one of our biggest customers, but what he was doing, he was pulling the sales into the online space. So sort of in a small way, part of the reason why that store then ended up closing, because of what was happening there. And it created an opportunity for me. So he went in the store, hey, where's Mike? And they said, well, we're closing the store down. His job was eliminated. He gave me a call. He's like, hey, want to come work for me? And I work for Firefly Buys. And I was like, no. What's Firefly Buys and what's online, But once I realized I didn't have a job, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll work for you. And that was
always good motivation,
ago.
right? Being unemployed is always good motivation.
Good motivation. My wife was like, yeah, just try it. So that was 12 years ago. And man, it's been a great, great run. So Firefly Buys is a small company outside of Atlanta, Georgia that was full of like a lot of ex-retail, brick and mortar retail people. And so we had that going for us. And then we had some other people in the organization that are strong in like IT and information and that sort of the logistics of it, the back end of the online business. So you combine a bunch of retailers, a bunch of tech people. Online selling was perfect marriage for us. And so we just grew over time, going to trade shows, talking to suppliers. In the early days now, a lot of companies weren't even on Amazon, or if they were, it was just a hot mess. So they, love to talk to someone who could sort of help them with their business. And we would just layer on small, mid-sized companies and be their Amazon arm for them. They didn't have the internal resources to devote to it, and it was fast changing. So as soon as they kind of figured it out, something would break or something would change, and then they had to sort of learn it. And again, they didn't have the resources to expertise to move as quickly as Amazon was moving. So that's where we came in. What's interesting about what we did early on, and what really I think helped us be very successful, and then leads us to today, where now we're part of Recomm, this $500 million juggernaut, top 10 Amazon seller, was that we used a wholesale model. So we would buy the goods. So when I'm talking to a supplier at a show or just through a referral, they're like, oh, so you buy the goods from me? Because first of all, it's a sale, right? So like, this is great. And second of all, they knew I had skin in the game, because if I own the goods, the only way I make any money is to sell it. So I'm highly incented to sell those goods. And in a wholesale model, I'm highly incented to sell that at the right price and not engage in these price wars where you're just knocking down by pennies and then no one's making any money, because now I don't make any money. So I'm not going to get involved in that kind of relationship. So we worked and picked up brands and built double-digit increases for every year, and built the team out. Sort of we'd hire a couple people a year, a nice growth, but a steady growth. And then that led us to, I guess it was 5 months ago, we were acquired by Recomm Brands out of Deerfield Beach, outside of Miami, end of last year. And like I had mentioned, they're a top 10 Amazon seller, right? They have 300 employees, and they do exactly what we do. but they've got this huge scale. They have, in-house brand protection and attorneys and like in-house software systems for logistics and for marketing management. And they're just a robust service offering. We had gaps in our service. We knew that, but we were trying to fill those gaps. But with them, we just immediately became full service, white glove. There's nothing we sort of can't do on Amazon, and we can do it when we believe best in class. So here we are today. I'm now part of Recomm. We just went through a brand refresh. So it was Recommmerce, now we're Recomm. Firefly Buys is no longer, although it's sad to see it go. It's now we're just bigger and better. And like I said, I'm out there at trade shows all the time, us and our crew, looking for partners, people that want to do Amazon better. Because most people are already doing Amazon in some shape or form today. They just want to do it better, and we're the solution for them.
Yeah, and if they're not doing it, they should be doing it. I can speak for myself. I did Amazon myself at one point, and it's a nightmare. It's like if you're going to try to manage it, it's one thing, like if you're already doing some of the drop ships, it's one thing. But if you start really managing Amazon, you got to manage the marketing, you got to manage the inventory, you got to manage if you're going to fill it versus them filling it. So I found it's like, why would I want to do that, me personally, if it's not my sweet spot, when my sweet spot is really getting into retail and selling and being out in the front, right? Like, and that's what I try to tell everybody, like, don't try to be everything to everybody. You know what you're good at, what you're not good at. There's guys like you, right? Your company that actually are really good at it. That's what you guys specialize in, is what you do all day long. So why do I want to try to be good at that when I'm good at so many other things that will help grow the business? And then I can just really hand it off to you and let you guys go to work. But I can't stress that enough. Like, stay in your lane, do what you're good at. This is what you guys are set up to do, right? Talk about, like, for me, if I want to start business with you, walk me through that whole process.
Yeah, and absolutely, Chris, I completely agree. Amazon's not a set it and forget it. You are competing with 1,000 people at all times on Amazon, right? The competition's it's immense. And so if you don't do anything at top level, everything with content, advertising, logistics, someone else is taking your customer and you're in trouble. So how we work with suppliers, most of our suppliers are already, like I said, they're doing business on Amazon. Maybe they started it themselves, they created some listings, they watched some, YouTube videos on it or whatever, they got an uncle who helped them. So they're doing it in some limited capacity. But a lot of it, they don't know what they don't know. And so they're sort of doing it, and maybe they're selling, and they're like, well, I guess it's okay, but that maybe my listing went down, and we called the listing getting suppressed. I wasn't sure what to do there. I reached out to Amazon. They weren't really responding to me. I'm kind of stuck. My business I'm not selling anything for 7 days, for a month. I don't know how to escalate this. Help. Those companies, like I said, they don't necessarily know everything about the Amazon space, so they have to kind of fumble their way through it, right? So with us, they get it all, and they get it fully managed. So to begin the process, we'll review the current state of the state. What are you doing today? You check out their listings. We can, easily recognize opportunity looking at their current listing, of where they are on Amazon. Are they fully represented? Are their listings what we call optimized, meaning do they have all the verbiage, the back-end keywords, the video, the images, the enhanced brand A+ content, all of those things. If we see those missing elements, we immediately recognize that we can help them almost overnight by making changes. We can help their conversion, and they've got a certain amount of traffic happening, and maybe 5% of those customers are buying. There's a 5% conversion rate. We might be able to do things to their listing, enhancing the just basic stuff, and double their conversion. It's very possible. And there they take the same 1,000 customers, but now with that same 1,000 shoppers, and now you've got double the amount of customers purchasing your products. So easy stuff there. So we'll start off, check out what they have, give them feedback on sort of what we can do, And then we walk them through the relationship. And the relationship is really straightforward. I mean, because we buy at wholesale, once we review with them, sell prices, we love MAP. We need to have MAP, right? What do you want the sell price to be? And we work from there with the economics of here, Amazon's commission and fulfillment and different fees that are involved in anyone selling at Amazon has to have or has that economics, right? So we share that. We're very transparent with all the economics of the relationship. And then we work out some sort of wholesale price that we can work with so that we can achieve margins that we need. We go through that process, go through the entire catalog, send them a PO, ship the goods, and then we're off. I mean, there's other pieces of it, and we talk about, you know, the optimization piece and the marketing piece, but the reality is it's a really simple relationship.
You know, and I, you know, at the last Shark Tank reunion, I heard one of your clients talk about it because people get confused. They don't really understand, like, are you really buying my product? I mean, that's the beauty. Like, yes, you're getting a purchase order, you're sending product in, they bought it at wholesale. You're still connected, you're part of the brand, but they're going to do, meaning Recomm, the old Firefly Buys name, is going to really help you get it sold and launch it and really do the things that you don't know what you don't know. And that's always been my line even in manufacturing, especially on the lean side. You don't know what you don't know until you know. And when you know, it's usually too late, because in manufacturing, you're losing a ton of money. You're bleeding, and then somebody's got to come in like me to fix it and put a stopgap. And in this case, you're not so much bleeding, but what you don't know is you're not selling through the way you should. And you're missing all these opportunities. And that's where I see you guys as being, you know, real pros. Mike, how about, like, for example, I have a new product that's going to be launched. It's a massive market. I won't get into it. We'll talk about it separately, but how do I get started with you on a new product? So we'll have control of tooling. We'll have control of molding and any of the other things that we need. But I don't want to do Amazon. I want to say, here you go, Mike, here's a new account. But it's in a space that's going to sell. It's a really fast-paced market-based product now that really is really needed, and people want it. So how do I get started with you?
Yeah, so in those situations, it's like kind of what we call like a pure launch, right? Like it doesn't exist on Amazon yet, and it's really innovative. And we would, of course, we want to see, there has to be some sort of search out there for like products or similar products, or you're solving a problem. Because with Amazon, it's not like you build it and they will come, right? Like it's all about what are people putting in that search bar, and then what the results are going to be. So with a pure launch, we want to understand, like, are we going to grab the consumer that's looking for solving that problem this way, but you're going to offer them a better solution? So they're searching for it. Now we can market against that search, and then serve up our ads so they can click through and then go to our listing to grab that new consumer. So once we sort of recognize that there is a consumer demand there and there's enough there, right? There has to be, you can't have 10 people a day looking at it, because, you know, conversion rates, you're going to get maybe half a customer, right? So there's got to be enough there. And we'll share all these analytics with you. This is part of what we do. We do this all day long. If we recognize enough, then we'll look at how much do we see, right? Like, and we see that this is probably something that we can probably sell a few hundred units a week, or maybe it's, you know, a few thousand units a week, or whatever it is. And then we'll place a PO against what we sort of project to be that initial sales. If it's tough, if it's even more difficult to understand that, we're flexible. We understand that a lot of the companies it's really early stages. So we can be flexible, and maybe it's one of those where we don't have enough analytics yet, but we're still believers. If you can help us, maybe give us some startup inventory. We'll create the listing, give us a few units of inventory to help us sort of there's a lot of cost involved in creating listings, thousands of dollars of man hours internally just to get it up right. We're not going to just throw it up there. We're going to make sure it looks good, because we're going to get the best chance for success. But maybe there's a arrangement where we can get maybe some, like I said, some free inventory to build up the listing. And then once it starts to roll, it's a big train, right? Hard to get going. And once it starts to really chug, then the sales will come, and then we can go into a straight wholesale relationship. So we can be very flexible.
So, Mike, who do I send the inventory? Do I send it to you? Do I send it to Amazon? Because there's always that question that pops up.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything comes to us here outside of Atlanta, to this warehouse. And the reason for that, there's actually a few reasons for that. We do all the prep in-house, the labeling, that sometimes you have to put special like safety labeling or shrink wrapping in if it's an exposed piece. Amazon has a lot of requirements for items to go directly to their fulfillment center, which 98% of all of our sales happen through the Amazon fulfillment center because they become eligible for Amazon Prime. So you got to be there. It comes into our warehouse, we do the prep. Also, we have an entire team that does what we call kitting. So it's like you want to sell a 2-pack or a 4-pack or an assortment. We can take the product that you send to us and we'll do all that for you. So a lot of our suppliers don't have the resources to kind of do that, or they use a third-party warehouse, and it's difficult for them to sort of do that prep work or that kitting themselves, or very expensive. We'll do it in-house. And the last reason is we also sell not only on Amazon, that's the lion's share of what we do. We're really great Amazon sellers, 95% of our business, but we're also on Walmart, we're also on eBay. So once we have it in-house, we can send it to those channels. If you want, it doesn't have to be, but if you want to be on those channels, we can do that as well and send it out from our warehouse. So
which I'm listening to all this, and like if you don't know about Amazon and you hear Mike talk, then you know like you're crazy for trying to do it yourself. Long story short, how about pricing, Mike?
Yeah.
How do we establish pricing? Let's say it's, I would say products that are already in the market kind of have an establishment, right? A new product. So I have a new product coming. How do we? I know what my costs are. I know roughly what my retail costs will be. Obviously, you're going to determine what you need to buy it at to make money based on Amazon fees, your commission, all the shipping costs, all the handling costs. How do you normally go about that?
Yeah, so this is one of the pieces that it's early on in the conversation as well, the economics of it. And we share all of those pieces, like what the commissions exactly are. This product sells for $40. Here's the 15% Amazon commission. Here's exactly what the fulfillment fee is, which is what Amazon charges us for them to send it to the consumer. Here are every charge to the penny. Here's where we are. Here's what we need, our margin requirements. By the way, it's typically about 20% sort of fully loaded that we look for off the retail. And then from there, that's sort of what we can pay to get there. Typically, if I were to say 50 to 60% off retail, but it depends. Like if the product, the big variables are fulfillment. So if you have a retail that's sort of below $20 or $15, it gets very challenging in the Amazon space because fulfillment could be $4, $5, $6, $7, and then the Amazon's commission is $3 or $4. So now you have a $20 item. You've got built-in fees that are $10. So I can't pay $10. I'm just moving money around. So I would have to pay like $6, $7. So it does get more difficult. But in that scenario, I would say the economics are tough. Have you thought about doing a 2-pack? And maybe we give the consumer a little bit of a price break, a 1-pack for $20, but a 2-pack for $37.99. They get a small price break, but now my fulfillment fees that are $8 for a $20 item may actually be the same fulfillment for the 2-pack because it doesn't reach the next threshold of like weight. Or if it does, it's only $1 or more. So now your percent of your fulfillment to your retail price goes from 30% of it on a $20 item. It could be 15% of it on the 2-pack that's $40. So there are ways for us to, to win-win-win. The consumer can win, get over price break.
Maximizing the economies there.
Maximizing economies. Yeah. So
how do you handle someone? And I listened to Mike talk, right? This is not like somebody that just walked off the street doing Amazon. He's got like 30. He's not even that old, but 30-something years of experience in this whole market segment, right? I mean, think about that for a second. I'm new. We had a guy on the phone the other day who was telling us he's going to do Amazon, but he's not sure how to do it. But I'm like, okay, so we have somebody that can do that for you, but I don't want to pay the fee. It says, okay, so you're going to pay more by yourself doing it than paying somebody a fee to manage all of it while you go and do other things that are more pronounced for you to grow your business. How do you convince these people? To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Again, I've been somebody who's done Amazon, who doesn't want to do Amazon, because like I listen to you talk. Why would I want to compete with somebody that's got 30 plus years experience in this market segment, and 12, right, just with the business he's in now, the business model. He's seen it all. He's seen the mistakes. He's fixed the mistakes. He's helped grow the business, and he's got a list of successful companies, including Shark Tank companies, that he's helping continue to grow the brand and their sales revenue stream.
Yeah, Chris, it's like, I think, by the way, I think our Shark Tank list is up to 12 now. And I think Jackie's going to have it up to 16 by the freaking end of the week, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great spot for us to be Shark Tank items. It's been a great marriage. Oftentimes when I'm talking to companies, it's like, I can give you sales lift and I can give you time back. The opportunity cost of what you're doing right now. And by the way, you're not doing it very well.
No.
Just to let you know, you're spending hours a week doing something not really well. What's the opportunity cost? This is not where you're not going to get better at Amazon by just sort of like doing it poorly over time. Our people, right? We go to seminars, we get training, like we're constantly in this space all day, all the time. So we have direct relationships with Amazon, monthly meetings with Amazon. So, and new betas are running out. We get, because we're a really large strategic seller, we get access to these programs that no one else has access to. Good luck competing with us, right? I'm not saying I'm the top of the food chain, but the people I work with, good luck competing with them. And why would you even want to do that? You didn't get into this business to be an Amazon expert. You don't want to be an Amazon expert. You're a product person, or you're good in maybe at the brick and mortar space or whatever it is. Do that well. Spend your time doing that. Let us do the heavy lifting. And by the way, when you work with us, you're going to get a sales lift off it too. So you get time back, and you're going to get a sales lift.
Yeah. So to me, this is like, Carmine, it's a no-brainer, right? Yep. You hear the conversations we have. Like, for some reason, some inventors, and I think the experienced ones realize the value, but the new ones think, oh, I'm going to save myself $4, but I'm going to do it myself. It's going to cost me 12 to do it, maybe more, but I'm going to save 4. So I always say, I don't understand. It's like my ex-mother-in-law would tell me she'd go play bingo and she'd win $200, and I go, how much did you spend? She said 400. I'm like, well, you didn't win 200, you lost 200. No, I won 200. Yeah, you won 200 off the 400, the 200 you lost. So it's almost that same conversation. I don't understand it. I never will. So we'll just close this by saying, if you're not working with someone like Mike and his team, you're clearly missing out on incredible sales opportunities, ways to really get your product branded, which will only help you get into retail later, because they're going to look at your sales, they're going to look at your reviews, and this is the path to do it, no question. Yeah. All right, so I want to close out here because we have another UIA meeting at 12. I want to close out maybe the next 5 minutes or so, Carmine, if you're okay. Let's just talk about UIA for a second. Like, we're going to all these shows. Obviously, Mike and his team has been part of it. I want Mike to talk a little bit about, like, we have all these educational segments, and then we have these pitch panels. So we allow people and inventors to pitch their product into experts who have really been successful in the business. Could be a Shark Tank person like Aaron Krause, right, with Scrub Daddy. It could be someone that just got launched and is working directly with Mike and his team to see the results. Talk about that a little bit, Mike. What you found being with the last couple of shows with us.
Yeah, Chris. So, we kind of did the standard model where, we'd walk the shows back in the day, right? And then we started doing our own booths a few years ago, and that worked fairly well. But a lot of suppliers didn't even realize that we were even available out there. So we're kind of standing there waiting for people to walk by. A lot of people walking by were the buyers; they weren't the exhibitors, because that's what trade shows are set up for. So it was a challenge for us to make these shows successful and to sort of show off what we were doing. And then so we started partnering with you guys. I guess it's been a year now, and a handful of shows that we've gone to. What I found now is I don't want to have a booth anymore at the trade shows back, somewhere in the middle of the floor in front of a bunch of exhibitors. I want to be with you guys because the energy that you guys bring and the content that you guys do with these shows is just fantastic. The trade shows are going through a lot of change right now, right? Post-COVID. lot of change happening. But the last few shows that I've gone to, and we've been with you, you've got us on stage. We've had great interaction with exhibitors and with brands, and connecting has been fantastic. And we look forward to doing it for many, many years. Right now we're talking about, further, growing our relationship, because this is where we want to be. I want to be part of UIA. I want to be on the floor with you guys in what you are establishing at these shows, because it's something really, really special. And we recognize that. And we are pivoting our strategy with trade shows because of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? And have you in the area where all the people are, right, that are participating in the educational panels and the pitch panels. I mean, the last show you guys were there, we had Mindy from Shark Tank casting there with Vincent, reviewing the pitch panels and looking at what we're doing. And so we're getting a lot of attention. We're getting a lot of opportunity to grow this brand and to grow the show segment of it. And, and you see how organized we try to keep it, right? It's to me, it's got to be like pitch panels are timed. Carmine's got this little drone filming all of it. We've got photographers on site, videos, and it's just been, for me, it's been exciting because Carmine knows how much work goes into this and how important it is to have not just the organization on the stage and the pitch panel, but have the crowd available. And it's been a blessing. It's been really great. So all of it happening in one location. So you're right, Mike, to have yourself in this location it would definitely be better than being out somewhere at part of the show, because we're getting all the traffic 100%.
Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit, how like there's two pieces to our business. Like one is like we're a customer, we're buying it. Another piece is like that we're offering a service. And so the piece of being part of UIA is that we're a service offering. So we have all these inventors out there that have questions about the Amazon space. They may just have an idea. Literally, they may not even have like a sample yet, or they have a fully flushed out, strong product. And you've already introduced us to handfuls of companies that we're currently working with through the UIA that had a great product, and we would represent them today and very successfully. But that service piece is what is exciting for us, because we recognize that's part of what we're doing here. And the UIA that's part of your offering as well, right? You're helping these people be successful with their products, and we're just a nice piece of that, hopefully.
And the whole Shark Tank portion of our audience is growing. I'm getting more and more people wanting to be part of it, and the feedback we're getting from the inventors and entrepreneurs who are getting that opportunity to pitch. I mean, think about that panel we had. We had Kelly Higney up there, Aaron Krause, Kevin Lane, Tiffany, Laren, like your powerhouse, and they got a chance to pitch directly to like someone like Aaron, who's a $700 million company. When he was on Shark Tank, he was 100,000 to 700 million, less than 10 years. Think about the feedback. And when you listen to him talk, I mean, you pay people big money to get that feedback, and he's always happy to do it. When we talked after the show, he said, whatever you need from me, I'm happy to be part of it. And that's the kind of community we're building, people who want to help and want to be part of a bigger initiative and giving back. So it's been absolutely great, Mike. Your knowledge, your company's knowledge, and the services and the systems you have in place are the best that I've seen. We're happy to be partnering with you, and all the information you talked about today. Like, to me, if you're not using the old Firefly, now Recomm, then you're missing out on some great opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. It's been a great. I'm so glad that we connected. I wish it would have happened a lot earlier, to be honest with you. But now that we're together and the shows that we're doing together and planning for the future, we're fully engaged, invested, and looking forward to. We're going to be at Super Zoo together. I know we got a bunch of shows probably in the future we're doing together. Yeah, we're excited about it, and I can't wait.
This has been great, Mike. So we definitely appreciate it. All the information today has been great. So Carmine, I think on that note, I'm not sure there's anything else to say. If you're not doing business with Mike and his team, you need to be.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We've all tried Amazon. I've expressed several times that not only do it because I just don't have the time to do it, and people don't count their time as a resource, and that's something that Mike and his team can give back to these people, give back to you. So, and with much better results. So yeah, I'm right with you guys. It was awesome. I'm sitting here listening. I was even taking notes. So it's great, man. It's really cool. I thank Mike for coming on, and we'll be bringing him back on. We'll be talking about some Shark Tank stuff, and that's what's going to be great about this podcast.
Well, we're gonna have the extended version next time, so we can show some videos of Mike dancing, because he's not just like extremely knowledgeable in this area. He's also got some really good dance moves.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a dance instructor, I hear.
All right.
We got so to get hold of me, Recomm.co. So RECOM.co. And then from there you can link in and kind of get, reach out, and then we can help you out.
Well, you don't want to give your personal cell number?
You can get that as well, but maybe later.
He's got that listed on some other sites, Chris.
Yeah, we told Dara we are going to post her cell number somewhere.
No, Mike, that's great. I was just about to ask to say how can people get a hold of you. That's perfect. I like that, recomm.co. It's awesome. Very easy to remember. And Mike, it's great for you, coming on today. We thank you. I know you guys are busy out there. We appreciate you coming on. Chris, great job. And this is going to be an awesome, awesome podcast. Can't wait to get some of the Shark Tank alum on, start telling some stories, things that are happening with them, previous, afterwards. It's going to be great, great show. And we thank all of our listeners out there. I want to catch you next time, and we appreciate you listening in. You guys all take care.